Which one? Yours.
Okay. Which
Which
one's
is
that?
what? Unfortunately, right now,
Then no, you don't. If you were for mine, I'd say it's okay.
We ready?
No, it's cute, right?
I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'm going to call the meeting of Wednesday, September 11th, 2019, City of Oldsmar City Council meeting to order. We will start off with our invocation. Tom Trask, because of the rescheduling, is not here. He had a previous commitment. And I'll also mention right off the top, of course, as you'll notice, Councilmember Saraki is not here, and he was very upset because he has this track record of never missing a meeting. And when we rescheduled it, he could not reschedule. So I thought I would mention that. But Patrick Perez is filling in for our legal counsel, and he'll lead us in the invocation. And afterwards, we have special guests who will lead us in the invocation. Please rise. Excuse me, in the pledge.
Heavenly Father, we come together today in remembrance of those who we have lost on this 18th anniversary of the September 11th tragedy. We also remember the courage and sacrifice of the countless men and women who put their lives at risk in order to rescue, alleviate, and bring solace to the afflicted. Help us to continue to work for a world free from every form of hatred, violence, and ignorance. May terrorism in all its forms disappear from the face of this earth. Amen.
Amen. And at this time, I'd like to call up Boy Scout Pack 413 to come on up, stand behind your guy. You all could come up and stand behind him and introduce yourself and lead us in the pledge.
My name is Spiro. What should I say?
I'm MJ.
Daniel. My name is Blake. My name is Trey. My name is Sky.
All right. Take it away. We're going to go. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so why don't you guys come up here real quick. We'll do a quick photo op for your family. I don't think the council minds.
Aww. Thank you.
All right, congratulations.
Well done. So cute.
Future council members right there. All right, the next item on the agenda is the Citizens Open Forum. You can speak to anything you'd like. You have 5 minutes. State your name, your address. Please include the city. The only thing we ask is that you not speak to anything that's a public hearing item on the agenda. That would be item 10 and 11. We'd ask you to hold your comments to that time. Is there anyone on this side of the room? Perfect, good crowd. On this side of the room? I knew it. Jerry, come on up.
I couldn't resist. Jerry Cussin, Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to say one thing that I wouldn't have done it if the scouts weren't here. Everybody knows that this flag is at half-mast today. You know why? Who knows why? 9/11. What do we call that? The Day of Infamy. Okay? We want to honor all the men and women who sacrificed their lives that day. And there's another day in our country's history we also call the Day of Infamy. Anybody know what that is? Anybody know?
December 7th.
Pearl Harbor Day. December 7th, 1941, when our naval base was attacked in Hawaii by the Japanese. So we've had 2 days of infamy in this country, okay? You know, anybody in this room is alive for both of them? Me. Okay? So it's a really an important day of history today, and don't forget. And thank you guys for leading leading the Pledge of Allegiance. That's all I have.
Thank you. That comes from the colonel right there. Is there anyone else? Seeing none. The next item on the agenda is the community minute, which will be announced by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Thank you. Drive Electric Tampa Bay is coming up on Saturday, September 21st from 9 to 1. It'll be right out here in front of City Hall. Free, family-friendly event. Lots of stuff going on. If you want to learn more, driveelectrictb.com. Celebrate Oldsmar has a new date. Remember, this is going to be October 5th at Ariel's Park. Lots of music, lots of fun. And then experience Oldsmar Fall Edition. That's this magazine right here. Absolutely gorgeous. So Assistant City Manager Felicia's office did a really, really good job on it. Has a lot of details. It's available at the library, City Hall, Rec Center, State Street Center. It's free and gorgeous. The one thing that might not be in here has been recently confirmed, and that's the Florida Fallen Memorial, which will be at the library between September 20th and September 27th. And it's a very touching memorial, just to remind us of the fallen soldiers and, from that are from Florida. So if you can go there, it'd be a wonderful thing.
Thank you. Thank you. So how many people went to celebrate Oldsmar on Labor Day weekend? I'm just curious. Nobody? No. Right? So yeah, that's going to be a good event. All right, next item on the agenda is approval of addition of new agenda items. We have one new agenda item, item 6. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Next item on the agenda, under awards and recognition, item number 1, presentation of business of the quarter for the third quarter, 2019. This item is being rescheduled. Unfortunately, the recipients could not attend tonight. And so we'll reschedule it for a future meeting when everyone can make it. Next item on the agenda is Community Redevelopment Agency. This is where the council no longer sit as a council. They're now sitting as our CRA agency. Item number 2, approved minutes from August 13th, 2019 work session on the downtown district development proposals. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Discussion? Seeing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Item number 3, approval of minutes of August 21st, 2019 work session on the town center. Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Nope.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Man, we are on a roll. You know what it is? Tom's not here. I'm just saying. Next item on the agenda is the consent docket, which will be read by our city clerk, Ann Nixon.
Item number 4, approved minutes of August 6, 2019 City Council meeting.
That was a tough one this week, huh?
Yes.
One item. All right, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Next item is City of Oldsmar. Item number 5, appoint members to the Ordinance Review Committee, a popular committee. I'm going to ask City Clerk Ann Nixon to report on that.
At the August 6, 2019 City Council meeting, Council adopted Resolution 2019-10, establishing the Ordinance Review Committee. Each council member was to select a person to appoint to the committee. The following appointments are presented for the council's consideration: David Enos, Steve Graber, Pamela Settle, Paula Saraki, and Andrew Knapp. In addition to the 5 selected members, the resolution provides for the city clerk to present a list of applicants from which city council selects 2 additional committee members. The announcement was sent to the Citizens Academy alumni, and boy, did they respond. Within 24 to 48 hours, we had 14 names. So the following names are also presented for your consideration: Jerry Buckman, Becky Afonso, Rhonda Coy, Tom Price, Ken Sidorowicz, Ginger Tartazuski, Donna Walston, Brian Mahoney, Jim Mason, Jessica Opid, Chris Tucknitz, Cleveland Smith, Susan Oliver, and Ann Teets. The names presented to you are in the order that we received them. So tonight, what I'm asking is for 3 motions. 1, to accept the slate of 5 that everyone picked. The second motion would be to act to fill the 2 vacancies. You have a couple of choices. You could draw names, or however the discussion goes up here that council would like for filling those 2 vacancies. And then the third, we need to appoint an organizing chair out of the 7 that are appointed.
Okay, all right, so I'm going to take the first motion, and that is to approve the following appointed individuals: David Enos, Steve Graber. I do that every time I announce it.
Every time.
Sorry, I don't know why I do that.
Sorry.
Thanks. Pamela Settle, Paula Saraki, and Andrew Knapp. So the chair will entertain a motion to approve those to the committee.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. So the next question before we get into this, I kind of had a couple thoughts on this, but I think that the clerk's suggestion of us putting the names into a bowl and selecting them, pulling them out, we could do that right now. We are prepared for that, correct?
Yes, we are. Attorney Perez has the names. He's double-checked that they're all there, and the bucket is in front of him.
All right, it's from the accounting firm up. So if that's the consensus that we have?
Sure. Yes, seems like a fair way to do
It seems
it.
fair, because that's kind of a who's who list. I mean, we had some really good
is,
people
yeah.
come out. I feel like it's the lottery. Let's see. Go ahead.
Okay. And I did confirm that every name is in here.
Okay.
So the first one is Donna Walston,
All right.
and the second name is Ken Sidorich. I'm sorry,
Sadorowicz.
Sidorich.
All right.
About that.
Very good. That was pretty good. All right, so the chair will entertain a motion to approve those two to round out our review committee.
So moved.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Wow. All right, so so we need to appoint a chair, correct?
Yes, an organizing chair.
An organizing chair. Would anyone like to nominate?
I'd like to nominate Andrew Knapp to serve as organizing chair.
I think
of the
that's an
ordinance
excellent nomination. The chair will entertain that as a motion.
review. I'll second.
Do I have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Congratulations, sir.
Andrew.
Putting you to work. All right. You know what, let's give them a round, all around applause.
Thank you all for volunteering.
All of them. Yeah, they stepped up immediately. All right, next item on the agenda, item number 6, presentation of annual report for the Upper Tampa Bay Regional Chamber of Commerce Business Assistance Partnership Agreement for fiscal year 2019-2020. I will turn the chair over to you, sir.
Good evening.
Not the chair, but I'll give you the floor. How about that? You might remove me, I don't know.
Jerry Peruzzi with the Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce, City Manager, Mayor, ready to City Council. So we're here tonight to present the report that we did all year. Got to tell you, it was pretty challenging. Felicia certainly gave us a lot to do all year, and I hope we her expectations. And I think Jerry Custon and Jason Sanders certainly worked together with her and met everything and got, I think, even more than what we expected. So, but right at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Jerry Custon because he's got all the bullets and all bullet points
Deputy.
and all the information.
Even though we're going to try to keep you on the roll, but I do have a report to make. As we're talking about the contractors last year, 2018, 2019, one thing I know that most of you know, that it's a great pleasure and honor for us to have such a wonderful relationship with the city. You can't say that for a lot of chambers with the relationship that we have. You should have a written report in there, and I'm only just going to do the highlights and kind of bullets in the major paragraphs that it was. The first thing was chamber obligations. That was the very easy part. What we wanted to do, Ms. Donnelly wanted us to meet every other Tuesday. We exceeded that because of the stuff we got into. It didn't necessarily be every other Tuesday. We met whatever we needed to do, but we met quite a few things. And of course, that was business assistants, me, but also our chair at the time, Jason Sanders, decided to join that. So you got twice the input for that. So I think we overexcelled on the meetings, and that was great because they're very productive. A big and significant add this year was stuff we had never done before, was to support the development of a city economic development plan. We've worked around it, but we haven't worked with such focus on that, and that's a credit to Ms. Donnelly. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The next big paragraph was leadership initiatives. There was 3 bullets under that. We mean business. And what that is we do monthly visits to local businesses with the mayor, the city manager, the chamber president, as well as the chairman of the board. And we do that to make personal contact and keep the pulse of the city. And sometimes the mayors, not you, because you've been here for a while, but sometimes the mayors get exposed to businesses they didn't even know exist. And that was pretty good. We did visit 21 businesses to date this year, still have a couple to go by the end of September. And most of that visit is to listen and to hear what those businesses think about doing business in the city. And the way we tell them is tell us the good, bad, and the ugly. And so we make that very, very informal and get some good stuff out of that. I will tell you that last month, what we did is we visited 3 businesses on State Street, and the mayor wanted to do that so he could inform them of the town center plan and how they affect their parking. All 3 of them received that very well. And 2 of the 3 are looking at expanding.
Want to expand?
Yeah, they want to expand, and they definitely want to stay here. So that was very good feedback. Those visits are excellent. The other thing is we do a monthly economic development meeting, and the only criteria we had for that was invite the city rep, which we do all the time anyhow, so that doesn't make any difference. And the purpose of that meeting is basically to look ahead to city and regional developments that we see on the horizon to do that. And we share information on various business sectors. We have real estate people and bankers and other kinds of people that share stuff, and we try to keep our pulse on what to look out for there. And we take action when needed to do that. Ms. Donnelly actually used the committee on a couple of occasions for a sounding board as we were developing an economic development committee before we took that out to any more public stuff, and I think that worked out pretty well to do that also. The third element is basically to attend the quarterly county economic development committee meetings, and Ms. Donnelly and I go to those, and the same purpose is we're taking a look, at the broader view of what's happening in the county. The other thing that really did for us this year was give us really good personal access to do some of the research and stuff that we needed to do using county resources to do that. So that helped us out both ways. So that worked out pretty well. The next major area is called proactive nurturing, and we're not used to that. We're usually reactive. We're used to doing reactive mauling instead of proactive nurturing. So that was a little different approach for us. That was good. But one of the things we had to do with that was identify growth posture businesses. We kind of always did that by incoming phone calls, but that bullet made us a little bit more organized in listening to things. And we did have several calls for relocation, and like I said, we had the 2 for expansion this year. About 6 weeks ago, I got a call from Congressman Bill Rockus' office about a Tampa manufacturer looking to move here. So I'm working with them to do that. We also, as the town center plan was coming into fruition here, we had several of the bidders that would come to us and ask us, okay, what's your thought on this? We know you guys are independent. And so I pulled some data and demographics for them. So that was interesting too. We also, interestingly enough, you want the co-working spaces in there. I had to have several calls for co-working spaces incoming in this year, and a couple of them I referred over to the flea market since we didn't have anything to do. And we also worked with the agent marketing the empty Galleria space, called us for some help on that. So that's kind of proactive. The economic plan development, like I say, that was the biggest thing we did this year. And that was very, very interesting. Ms. Donnelly, from the outset, said she wanted to be data-driven. And we kind of asked, okay, what do you really mean by that? And we got that, and we got a really good source down at Pinellas County Economic Development, a fellow by the name of Ben Friedman, who is just absolutely amazing at pulling data. And I mean, he'd have it back. I know Felicia about a month ago asked me for some additional data on demographics, and that guy had it back within 25 minutes. And so he would pull really good, solid data for us to get back and to look at it, and we'd manipulate it and change it and go ask for some other stuff and do it. And so what we did with that was, basically assess that data, draw some preliminary conclusions, and then took it to development for develop the agenda for what grew into. We were initially going to try to do a business survey, and then Ms. Donnelly had a better idea of let's do it face to face. So we wound up having 3 business forums, one in January, one in April, one in July to help us, the businesses, sort that out a little bit further, and we're, I think Ms. Donnelly's pretty ready to, we've got all the conclusions drawn and everything else. I think we're getting pretty close to putting a plan in your hands, if I'm not mistaken. So that went very well, and that was very interesting. Another one that we had was identify problems common to the business community. I'm happy to report that I didn't have any, I can't think of one serious complaint that we've had all year. And that includes we mean business visits. So there's pretty much a happy face on that. There's always a couple little things that Al or somebody can tweak, or we can tweak even as a chamber, but pretty much it was pretty much a happy face. The other one is actively support the city economic development plans and marketing, and that includes some other activities that we do, such as ribbon cutting and a business of quarter selection, and of course we'll have the September one coming up next week. Let me see. The chamber, we also took action this year to develop support for the city initiative to seek additional incentives under the ad valorem tax program in the spring, and that passed. So I know the city's happy about that, and we're happy about that also, because that'll help us in the activities. Some other things I'll throw in there as other activities. One, which is very major to us, and turns out that it'll be very, very useful for the city, and that is an organization called the Tampa Bay Partnership. Did some economic development studies of our region, the Tampa Bay region, against 19 other regions nationwide that we're competitive with, and looked at that on various things. How do we stand transportation, infrastructure, talent development, governance, all those other kinds of things. And they found out that our region is in the last quartile of talent development and management, the last quartile of those 19. And they wound up asking me to get involved with the manufacturing sector. They chose two sectors to do that in, manufacturing as well as healthcare. And they got, I think, a $300,000 grant from JP Morgan Chase, it was. And so we're meeting with 17 manufacturers monthly to drill down and get an employer-led definition of what their needs are in the future, as well as what their issues are in the present, to do that. And what that is to do is develop an employer-led community voice to get out to the supply chain, which is the educational workforce development community and other kinds of things. So that's required a lot of time. And within the chamber, we formed a manufacturing council again, and are drawing them in. Because to sustain this, we're getting some really good input out in terms of definition, but to sustain it, that's only 17 manufacturers out of about 3,500 in the region, which is Hernando, Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough. So we've got to get more of those guys on board if we're going to sustain this. I think we're going to get out with a grid definition, but we got to grow that. And one of the ways that we're going to try to grow that is we have our seventh annual Manufacturers Awards Dinner coming up October 3rd, and that's going to be the theme is talent pipeline management. And who I have coming for a speaker for that is Dr. Eric Hall. He's the Chancellor of Innovation for the Florida Department of Education. From what I know of, that's a new position that was initiated by Governor DeSantis, and I love the word innovation because that's what we need to do. The other things that we do is we'll be presenting at the Oldsmar Citizen Academy next week, as well as we do business seminars within there, and I want to bring that up because that's another bullet that we want to get with Ms. Donnelly to do some substantial things on a quarterly basis. But right now, we have one of our chamber members who's doing weekly business seminars since June. Yeah, he's been doing every Wednesday since June, and we get an attendance at 10 or 12 for that, so we want to do that. In sum, it's been a busy year, and I think pretty well focused, and joint chamber city business assistance and economic development planning. So that's, in a nutshell, what we've done.
Very good, very good.
Any questions?
Questions? None? All right, for purposes of discussion, I'll entertain a motion to accept their report.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Any comments? I could share just a little bit. I know our economic development director and assistant city manager are going to make a few comments when we get down to the contract part, but I have been so impressed with the chamber. I've always been a fan, that's no secret, and I served on their board years ago and that kind of stuff, but this past year, I have seen so much more coordinated effort, and I'm sure assistant city manager is going to talk about it, but it's like the detail stuff, right? I mean, the detail stuff, I think 2 or 3 times, at least 2 times, in the short time that this council's been up here. I think we've been up here for what, 6 months? You know, the new class, for lack of a better word. I've been to 2 or 3 meetings where through the chamber there is a company entertaining coming to Oldsmar, and you know, say what you will, but when you're bringing a company in that you're going to make a big investment in, the ability to have access to the city leadership and sit down and meet with them is really impressive. And the chamber has facilitated those meetings. And it's really a Q&A kind of thing more than anything else, but it just furthers along what I would consider to be true economic development. And so, and we'll see if all those things come true, but in any event, I think they've just been doing an excellent job.
Yeah, thank you. The other, which you triggered to me, the other really good thing about that is the businesses, if it's going to be a major move, they can do that confidentially through the chamber, and we can get that through the city, because the very first one that I went through was Nielsen. Okay? And a lot of that had to be kept out of the paper and things of that nature.
Yeah, our friends from Dunedin were real excited about it.
Exactly.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Any further discussions?
I'd like to just mention one thing. The economic development forums, I was privileged enough to be able to attend all of them. And what I liked the most about those was hearing the feedback from the companies.
Yep.
Instead of it coming from the chamber or the council, we got to hear from the individual companies and get their ideas. And I thought that really broadened the discussion.
That's a great point.
Thank Ms. Donnelly.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
We'll keep her.
We'll keep it for a while. What do you think?
She's all right.
Not bad. All right, we got a motion and a second. No further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
Thank you,
opposed,
Chair.
motion passes. Thank you, Colonel. All right. Next item on the agenda is City Attorney's Report.
Nothing to report.
Excellent job, City Attorney. Did I set that up or what? You knew it was coming. You knew
Knocked
was
it down.
coming. All right. All right, next on the agenda is the City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 7 is the consideration of the renewal of the Business Assistance Partnership Agreement with the aforementioned Upper Tampa Bay Chamber of Commerce. The background is that the current Business Assistant Partnership Agreement with the UTB-RCFC, or Chamber as we know and love them, that commenced on October 1st, 2018, will expire on September 30, 2019. This agreement historically supported the Chamber's implementation of a business assistance program to enhance the business recruitment and retention efforts of the city of Oldsmar. This agenda item proposes to enter into a similar agreement with the Chamber for a period of 1 year beginning October 1, 2019. Purpose of the agreement is for the Chamber to provide a business assistance partnership program and to support the city of Oldsmar in its economic development efforts and to allow enough people to leave the building. I've asked my assistant city manager and local superstar, Ms. Felicia Donnelly, to give a little bit of a report on her perception of how last year went. You guys should all be nervous.
She's pretty tough.
I couldn't be more pleased with the outcome of this agreement and the objectives. The chamber really exceeded expectations. With their assistance, we were able to really draft our own economic development plan in-house. And we've established a model of collaboration between a chamber and a municipal government. It increases our reach and capacity into our community, which, is important. So this agreement is proposed to you. It's not a mirror of last year's agreement. I did tweak some of the language because last year it said develop the economic development plan, and now I wrote implement the economic development plan because we have established together a lot of goals and objectives and strategies that now we have to accomplish. So that's the only difference in that, in the agreement. So any questions?
Thank you.
Thank you, Felicia.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
Enthusiastic thanks to all of you,
Yeah, good work.
especially the folks we don't always get to see. Joe, Mark, y'all
We'll give him a round of
behind the
applause.
scenes. No, thank you.
Item 8, approve payment to Keystone Excavators for emergency water main repair. On July 11th, 2019, a contractor installing cable on Tampa Road inadvertently hit a 12-inch city water main. City staff immediately responded to the incident. However, assistance from Keystone Excavators Incorporated was requested due to the depth and location of the break. The contractor was better equipped for this event with the necessary trenching and safety equipment. Additionally, Keystone Excavators was working on the downtown water main replacement project, which was a project for the city, and allowed for a quick response. Since the break resulted in extensive water and pressure loss, expedience was essential. The break was reported at approximately 10:30 a.m. and crews worked until approximately midnight to complete the initial repair, which included approximately 20 city employees. The effort took several days. The space eroded by the water under the roadway was grouted the following day, and per FDOT requirements, and Keystone crews came back on the 17th and 18th to replace the sidewalk and ramp, remove for the repair, and conduct other restoration work. City purchasing policies and procedures allow for emergency purposes when the delay would be detrimental to the health, safety, and welfare of the city and/or its citizens, and the provisions called for within the policies and procedures were met. So I authorized the expenditure. This item is being presented to council after the fact, simply because the dollar amount exceeded the purchase threshold of $25,000, which applies in normal procurement circumstances. So obviously, staff recommends approval. The emergency repair will be paid out of the water and sewer fund, and then for a total of $30,000, $30,436.
Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I mean, you weren't going to let people go without water? That's always popular at the
Health,
restaurants in
safety, and
town.
welfare, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, we will hear more about it in
Yeah, I
a
know.
future
There's
meeting,
more.
but it's
I know.
it was a really dangerous situation.
Well,
And
thanks to Keystone for stepping up, because that was a touchy situation, and they really came through for us, so.
Sure was.
That's good stuff. All right, since there's no more discussion, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
Thank you, Mayor. Item 9 is approved contract with the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office for fiscal year 2019-20, law enforcement services. And I think we're going to ask Deputy Anzalone to make a lengthy presentation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I understood he was going to do a dance, too.
I think Captain Peterson's.
Somebody's called. So as most of you know, each year the City Council approves an annual contract with the Sheriff of Pinellas County to provide the city with police protection, community policing services, and school crossing guards. This contract represents an increase of 3.13% over the prior year due to the cost of law enforcement services. The level of service remains the same for the next fiscal year. Appropriations for this contract have been included in the fiscal 2019-2020 budget in the general fund under law enforcement services, and we're asking council to approve a contract with the PCSO for 2019-20 in the amount of $1,774,390 for fiscal 2019-20 law enforcement services. Staff overwhelmingly recommends approval for, this is the best bargain anywhere. Trust me.
Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes.
That was just to cover me in case I'm speeding on the way home.
They won't help you.
If John, yeah, if John was out, it wouldn't help.
If John pulls you over, it doesn't matter.
Done, you're done.
John wrote me a ticket a couple of years ago, and we accused him of being willing to write his grandmother. And when we accused him, he said, well, if she was speeding, yeah.
Merciless.
I believe them.
It works. Item 10, public hearing to adopt resolution 2019-13, establishing the tentative millage rate of 4.05 mils for fiscal year 2019-20. On July 16th, 2019, the City Council authorized the city manager to complete the certification of taxable value indicating a proposed millage rate of 4.05 mils to the property appraiser. In August, the property appraiser mailed the truth and millage notices to all property owners, advising them of the city's proposed millage rate and advertising the original dated meeting, which was transferred to tonight. The proposed millage rate is equal to the previous year, which is 4.05 mils. We're asking council to adopt resolution 2019-13, establishing a tentative millage rate of 4.05 for the upcoming fiscal. And because it's budget related, I will read the resolution in its entirety. Resolution 2019-13, a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, setting the tentative millage rate for the City of Oldsmar for the year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending September 30th, 2020. Whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, has reviewed the proposed appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019, and ending on September 30, 2020. And whereas, in accordance with law, the Pinellas County Property Appraiser has certified to the City of Oldsmar a rolled-back millage rate of 3.7989 mils, and whereas the proposed millage rate is greater than the rolled-back rate by 6.61%, and now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, in session duly and regularly assembled as follows. Section 1, that the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida hereby sets the millage rate for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020 at 4.05 mils. Section 2, that this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. Mayor, that concludes the reading of Resolution 2019-13.
Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this item? Sensing none, the chair needs a motion.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Item number 11 is a public hearing as well to adopt Resolution 2019-14, establishing a tentative budget for the fiscal year 2019-20. The proposed budget document was presented to City Council on Friday, July 12th, 2019. The budget work session was held on August 8th, 2019. Florida statutes requires a separate vote by the City Council for adoption of a tentative budget and a tentative millage rate, and the millage rate vote must occur first. Subsequent to the adoption of the tentative budget, a second public hearing must be conducted prior to the adoption of the final budget. The second public hearing for final adoption of the millage rate and budget is scheduled for Tuesday, September 17th, 2019 at 7 p.m. We're asking Council to adopt Resolution 2019-14, establishing a tentative budget for fiscal year 2019-20. And again, I will read the resolution in its entirety. Resolution 2019-14, a resolution of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, adopting the tentative budget appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the year beginning October 1st, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020. Whereas the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, has reviewed the proposed appropriations for the City of Oldsmar for the fiscal year beginning October 1st, 2019 and ending on September 30th, 2020, and now therefore be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida, in session duly and regularly assembled as follows. Section 1, that the City Council of the City of Oldsmar, Florida does hereby tentatively establish the appropriations for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2019 and ending September 30th, 2020 as follows, parentheses, see attached Schedule A for detail on pages 1 through 8. The General Fund, $15,290,735. Public Safety Impact Fund, $169,000. Parkland Dedication Fund, $70,500. Multimodal Impact Fund, $70,500. Community Redevelopment Agency Fund, $737,500. The Debt Service for Veterans Memorial Park, $171,215. The Capital Improvement Fund, $7,795,000. Water and Sewer Operating Fund, $9,592,500. The Water and Sewer Impact Fund, $182,000. The Stormwater Utility Fund, $1,619,000. And the Solid Waste Fund, $2,965,790. Total budget appropriations, $38,663,740. Section 2, that all purchase orders for materials and services that remain open at year end in fiscal year 18-19 are to become supplemental appropriations in the respective departmental accounts in the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2020, unless canceled. Section 3, that this resolution shall become effective immediately upon adoption. Mayor, that concludes the reading of Resolution 2019-14.
Thank you, sir. This is a public hearing. Does anyone from the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. The chair needs a motion
So moved.
to approve.
I just wanted to thank city staff again for their incredible efforts on this budget. Another beautiful one. Good job, Cindy. Thank you.
Motion, second. Discussion, sorry.
Sorry, that was my discussion.
That's okay. You just zipped it right in there. I normally go faster, but
You do.
good work, everyone. Sensing you're ready to vote, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes. Thank you, sir. Is that it?
That's it, thank you, sir.
Excellent. Next item on the agenda is city clerk.
I don't have anything except, I was really appreciative that so many people came out and wanted to be on the ordinance review committee. And if you didn't make it, I'm sure there's a charter review committee around the corner at some point. So, and there's plenty of opportunities to volunteer at the city.
Excellent. All right, city council. Item 12, approved tentative agenda for September 17th, 2019. Is there, let me allow the clerk to read. Oh, no, not the tentative agenda. All right, tentative agenda. Is there anyone who wishes to pull anything from the tentative agenda? Seeing none, I'd like to entertain a motion, but I would also entertain the motion to add the following items. Approval of excused absence for council member Dan Saraki from the September 11, 2019 city council meeting. Approve excused absence for vice mayor Gabby McGee from the September 17th, 2019 city council meeting. Presentation of the council manager award for September 2019. Presentation of business of the quarter award for the third quarter of 2019. And the last item, sadly, to accept the resignation of Quinn Triljo from the Code Enforcement Board. So I'll entertain a motion to approve with those items added to the tentative agenda. Do I have a motion?
Second.
So moved.
So moved. Second, any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. What's this?
I'll give you an early copy. Maybe we can do that as a new one, but can you add that if possible?
The chair will entertain a motion to suspend the rules for the day.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Want that, right?
Discussion? We missed an item. I got two separate different lists to add to the tentative agenda. So all in favor to suspending the rules? Signify by saying aye. All opposed, motion passes. So I will go back to item number 12 and also add for an additional item to the tentative agenda, approve Hurricane Irma final revision to scope of work for FEMA reimbursement. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Good thing to
Motion
add.
passes.
Means we'll get the rest of the money.
We'll get the rest of the money. All right, this time the chair will entertain a motion to return to the order of the day.
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. We're right back on track. 2-0. Take a breath. Item 13, council comments. Look at the time. Man, that train is rolling. I'm going to start
Tom
it.
is going to be so bummed that he missed this meeting.
I know it. I
Make sure to rub it in, really rub it in. Yeah.
Try to give us, I'll give them some pointers
know.
next time.
Yeah, would you please?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely.
You better.
All right, so council comments, I'm going to start over here with Councilmember Norris.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank Cub Scout Troop 413. They asked me to be their city official or elected official so that they could get their government, whatever badge it is that they get.
Oh, cool.
And they asked some really cool questions. Thank goodness Ann was here, though, because a few of them I couldn't answer, but I was able to answer most of them. So thank you guys for coming. And I would like to commend the city for their response to Dorian. It was amazing what you guys did, everything that you did all hours of the day. And this, I asked if it was okay if I highlighted this. We get this little city newsletter. It's called Under the Hood. And there's something in it this time that I did not know, and I wanted to read it to everybody that's watching. It's from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office, and it says that drowning was the #1 cause of child fatalities in Pinellas County in 2018. I had no idea. And they have a thing called Operation Kid Float. And it says, take extra care of kids whenever they are near water and always have the proper size life jackets on board while boating. And the Operation Kid Float around Pinellas County at no cost gives the youth jackets. They can be borrowed. So there's a website, Operation Kid Float. I was just surprised. I didn't know that. So I just wanted to point that out. And 9/11, I wanted to just, I know everybody knows where they were. 18 years ago, today, exactly where they were. And I wanted to encourage people to go stop by the fire station because there's a memorial there. And I actually just looked it up. I wanted to make sure I remembered that it was 343, but it's 343 firefighters that lost their lives out of close to 3,000 people that died and 412 emergency workers. But of the 412 emergency workers, 343 of them were firefighters. And they have a wonderful memorial there with a piece of one of the towers, right, Jason, Chief? Yeah. And so if anybody has the opportunity, you can just drive up and look at the memorial. And the last thing I have is happy birthday, Eric, Mayor. Happy
thank
birthday,
you.
Mayor. And that's it. That's all I got.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Gannon. What's coming next?
Such disdain, no.
No.
I
of
actually
course not.
echo many of the sentiments of Councilmember Norris. I was going to thank city staff for their expedient and organized response to Hurricane Dorian and activating our emergency operations process. I saw countless compliments to our city staff on social media for everything from the sandbag operations and our really cool sandbag filler, and our responsiveness on the telephone. I'm really proud to call myself council member for this city. And I wanted to be sure to encourage folks to stop by the fire station too, because that 343, that memorial is pretty amazing, and you get a new appreciation, especially this year after going to fire ops was eye-opening. I don't know how they climbed, 110 floors? 110 floors in that gear. And many of them lost their lives in doing so. And it's pretty cool. A lot of people don't know that we have a 9/11 memorial here in Oldsmar. Not every city has one, and we're really lucky to have that. So do stop by there.
Thank you. Vice Mayor McGee.
I would echo what both Councilmember Norris and Gannon said this evening. I have one additional thing to add. So some of you may have seen that I sent an email to you all just about an hour before the council meeting, and I understand if you didn't get a chance to see it because it wasn't that long ago, but I accepted an offer today with Fiscal.
Take your time.
Well, I didn't think I would get emotional, but I will be relocating for the position, and it's a really exciting offer. But due to that, I will have to resign as the vice mayor of the city. My last meeting will be October 15th, and my resignation date will be October 21st. Sorry, it's funny, you don't think you'll get emotional until you say it out loud. But some of you may know I've been working really hard for the last year to expand my career opportunities with Cisco. And today I got a formal offer, and it's a very exciting role. And it's a regional role in EMEAR, which is Europe, Middle East, Africa, and Russia. So I will be relocating to Spain.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's really exciting. And it was definitely a tough decision to make. My mother's not very happy about it.
I don't doubt.
But I'm very excited, and I just wanted to give you some advance notice before anything was kind of publicly made in the next few weeks. And I mean, it's truly an honor to be up here. I've been in the city 12 years, and I've been on the council for 6, so it's amazing to feel like I've spent more than half of my time in the city up here serving. And it's tough to leave right now. It's definitely bittersweet. We're working on so many great things, and I know 5 years from now, Oldsmar is going to look and be completely different than it is today, and it's hard to not be a part of that. But I would be happy to send you my unwarranted feedback.
Well, now that we can actually talk about it,
I will be happy to watch the meetings and email you my thoughts on proposals. And you can take it as you want. I thought about getting you all bracelets that said, "What would Gabby do?" But it's absolutely an honor to serve here. It's bittersweet to have to step down in October. But even more importantly, I just love having you all as friends. You know, we're like a family. And even though oftentimes the council's different, there's always some that are the same. And it's just been an honor to serve with every single person over the last 6 years, and the city staff and the leadership, and I'm just so proud. I always call Al Boss, and he's like, that's really not correct. But it's just because I have so much respect for him and Felicia and the whole team, and obviously Bruce and Retha prior. So, but thank you so much. And I will provide like a formal resignation letter and details as I get them, but I just wanted to give you a heads up on my resignation. And
Well,
thank you very much.
I don't like your report tonight.
Crying.
Follow that.
And this isn't goodbye because there's other meetings still.
Sure.
And I know we will send you off right. You may. You know what? At the prerogative of the chair, I'm gonna let the other council members comment if they want to say something.
I remember when you ran and when you won and when you were part of history, girl. First female majority council in the 103-year history of Oldsmar. And it was you, me, and Janice, and I remember all of that. And I mean, everything that you have put into, I was doing the Cub Scout thing, I didn't get it, so I'm shocked. But I'm so happy for you, congratulations. And I will definitely want your architectural. I want one of those bracelets. And also, I think you made history with being the youngest.
Yes, she did.
So you made history twice in this city. So I don't have any words because I'm happy for you.
Shocking.
Congratulations. They're lucky to have you, and
Thank you.
we love you.
Councilmember Gann.
You're part of the reason I wanted to be on council. I'm happy if you're happy, but oh, you will be so missed. So missed. But I'm really excited for you. And I can tell that it must be an incredible opportunity. And that's a big deal. And that's a hard thing to do. We're kind of similar in age, and it's so difficult to balance the ambition versus family. And you do it so well. You do it
Thanks,
so
Katie.
well. And you're such an incredible example of standing by your convictions and speaking, from the heart. I always look over, and you might not realize it, but I always look over when we're voting on something really important, and I can see your forearm where it says begin from within. And I always remember that.
Thank you.
And I know this is not goodbye, but this just gives me an opportunity to cry at several meetings in a row. But you will be dearly missed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, and I had the opportunity to speak with the vice mayor earlier this evening, or today, I guess. And so let me say how excited I am for you,
Thank you, Eric.
how much you clearly have worked for this. I mean, you have this consistency about you that always demonstrates leadership and thinking outside the box and approaching things intelligently. That are all the qualities that you've displayed on this council as well. And so I'm going to say congratulations, because I'm trying to stick in the non-selfish lane for a minute. But I can't. I can't, and I know this isn't your last meeting, but we had some discussions way back about the whole mayor position. And, what I will say to you, and there'll be opportunities to kind of shower you with appreciation, but your impact in this city is wide and deep. And it goes even beyond this council. I mean, just things that you have done in this city, which is part of the reason that our citizens are so grateful that you've served and the way you've served. And I think that's something that is really important, but probably even more important than that is that your impact will be felt for years to come. And that's what you can certainly feel proud about. And I certainly am going to miss you.
Thank you.
I called her my little sister the other day. I said, my younger sister, who's super smart. And she said, well, I'll take that. So anyhow, I'm going to stop right there because I don't want it to be a cry fest, because you all know I don't cry. but it is very dusty in here tonight. I just want to get the dust out of my eyes while I can. Anyhow, but congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Few comment, oh wait, Vice Mayor McGee, do you want to go again? Because I'm trying to make up for the times I skipped you.
Still a couple of extra goes. No, I know next week when I'm in California for work, you're gonna call on me.
Just trying to play catch up. All right, I do have a couple of items. Number one, just kind of quickly on the downtown community town center. Things are ongoing. I won't give a long report on that other than say that we're working with those who came in late. The city manager is working with them to try to put some numbers together and get reports done and get that back to us. I know there's been a lot of feedback in the community about it. At the end of the day, the city wants what's best for all of our citizens, and we certainly want to deal with all of those who are presented in good faith. So that moves forward. And next item I have, I'd ask the city manager for an update on where we're sitting right now with the BMX track.
Reader's Digest version is we're still evaluating options. The engineering firm has the report. They're analyzing it to present us with choices on how to go about the reparations to the track, but I don't have answers yet. And we would present those to the council for the choice of how to proceed.
Do we have a timeline? Do we think that we'll get that?
It depends on what I get when we do the work order.
Okay.
So 30 days, it could be as early as next meeting, it could be 30 days before we commit to the expense that will yield the guesses, if you will. So I'll have something for council in my update, and we'll try and move as expediently as we can.
Okay, thank you, sir. I too want to take the moment to thank the staff and the directors and the city manager and assistant city manager and the entire team who worked very diligently on storm prep. I posted it on Facebook. I had the opportunity to attend one of the meetings that was on Labor Day weekend, and it was, an 8 a.m. No, it was Labor Day, wasn't it?
It was Labor Day, yeah.
Happy Labor Day.
It was 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock in the morning on Labor Day. I said now, I'm like, seriously, the storm's not even up. He's like, nope.
Good morning.
And, I'll tell you, and I've always known how lucky we are to have the professionals that we have on our team, And that's not by chance. I mean, that's by choice. But when you watch a meeting, which at that point still wasn't the same kind of adrenaline because we were out of the cone, but yet the thoroughness in which everyone went through their checklists. I'll tell you, our citizens really can rest assured that there's somebody worried about where's the city assets at, and do we have the fuel that we need, and so on and so. I mean, all the detail that most of us are running around trying to get our patio furniture moved, right? I mean,
Water.
so, right, and water. And so I'm very grateful to that. And we made the decision early to issue the executive order within the city, which allowed us to do some other things. Of course, canceling or rescheduling this meeting. Was that too quick? Because I've had a couple of people mention to me that maybe we should have waited. I couldn't disagree with you more. Us being inconvenienced for a different night. And frankly, it was one less thing that staff had to deal with. It was preparing for a meeting when they're preparing for a possible storm. Yeah. So we will always approach it that way. And so in any event, I just wanted to make a point of thanking them and for their professionalism and how hard they work. They take it serious. People were, they're showing up with their overnight stuff because they had a stay at the Public Works Department for a few days, that staff level, and then directors, and I'm telling you, man, it's the real deal. Absolutely. So, thank you, sir. I'll give you a round of applause. And certainly, last but not least, our hearts and prayers go out to all those who were victimized in the events on 9/11. Councilmember Norris said it right. We all remember where we're at. I've shared the story before how I was running a public company at that time, and we were in the process of a secondary offering. And a week earlier, I held a ticket to be in the World Trade Center at that time. And it got canceled or rescheduled for a week later. I still have the airline ticket.
You really?
You know, we all remember where we were at. I was fortunate. And, you know, the never forget is more than just words. A lot of people lost their lives, innocent victims, and the heroes who went in there to save those who they could. And so our hearts and prayers go out to them, and know that we're thinking about them. All right? Do you have anything?
Yes, sir.
Outstanding. The chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. So moved.
Does not require discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We're out of here. Hour. Man, Patrick's good.
Absolutely. Oh, I need